It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission is to, inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you would call to serve. On this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Pam Perry. She's in the business to talk about an acronym, which is PAM, which is promote, amplify, and market. But before we get started, let me say hello first. What's going on, Dr. Pam Perry? How you doing?
I am doing great, Che. Thank you so much. I love your background there. You got two champs back there, two icons. Mamba mentality looks like that is Muhammad Ali also as well. So yeah, I love
Thanks
it.
a lot. I certainly appreciate that. And before we get started about how famous you are and all the wonderful things you've done in the world, there's a question out there. Then folks are probably wondering, why are we talking about businesses, individuals promoting their brand? I guess the question I have is, why are folks struggling these days, whether it's in their career or as an entrepreneur? Why are they struggling to really promote their brand when they have more tools and with AI than ever before? What's holding people back these days?
You know, the main thing that is holding people back is that they have to pitch. People don't like to sell. And I always say you're not in business if you can't sell, right? Because you've got to sell. And the main thing people are just really don't like no, they don't like rejection. They really are afraid of failure, which is most people aren't. That's fine, but you can't get to the yes if you can't get past the no's. So people have to know to put themselves out there. They have to get out there. They have to get known. They will probably rub people the wrong way, but those aren't your customers. You can't please everybody, but you do have to pitch.
I like to have the pitch. What do you say to the person right now that says, that sounds so good, but I already do good work? So shouldn't folks know I have a few letters behind my name? Shouldn't folks know that I've got a good track record? I mean, isn't that enough for someone at least to be able to find me these days?
Yeah, if that were the case, then everybody who went to school who had a whole lot of letters behind their name wouldn't have to pitch, but they still have to pitch. You still have to let people know who you are, who you serve, and what you do. You have to promote, amplify, and market. It is like breathing. Marketing is like breathing. If nothing sells, nothing gets done. So you could do all the great work, even if you're working in corporate America. You still have to sometimes tell people what kind of achievements you made every time you have a review. They can say, "Oh, you know what? You did really good this year. I have a list of all your accomplishments, and here's a raise." No, you have to go into that annual review and list your accomplishments and let them know what you did if you want that promotion. The same thing in the marketplace. If you're only as good as your last thing that you did. I have had success working with TD Jakes or Cindy Trim or even Dr. Miles Monroe. That was many years ago. What was the last thing you did? What was the last media hit you have? So I have to tell people it's like it's an ing. Marketing is an ing, not market and stop. It's marketing ing. It's promoting ing, amplifying ing. So it's continual, and it should be a part of your cadence of things that you do. And a lot of people feel like, oh, it's just so hard. It's a lot easier, like we said earlier before we started, with AI and having a system. So a lot of creative people don't have systems, and that's the part that I try to help people with.
I love it. And we're going to get into asking her to do a little deep dive into each one, promote, because I'm curious what the difference between promote and market is. I'm just curious, but I'm sure she'll break it down. But before we do that, as famous as you are, Dr. Pam Perry, all over the world, there's some folks that are watching you and hearing your voice for the very first time. They're like, Shay, I have no idea who this person is. I did not read her bio. I didn't go Google her ahead of time. So I'm hearing her, whether you're watching the podcast, thank you so much. Or if you're listening, maybe you got a hold of a long lost audio file. We appreciate you. So take a moment, Dr. Pam Perry. We'll slow down. You know the question, who are you, by the way? And what's the backstory that led you to doing what you're doing now?
Woo, the backstory is that I have been a publicist my entire career, 30 years plus. Coming out of college, I worked for the Detroit Free Press. So I've been in print, I've been in television. I worked for Christian Television Network. I've worked in nonprofit as a PR director of the Salvation Army. I've worked in radio for several years. I started a lot of organizations that primarily highlight Black writers and blacks in advertising, radio, and television, a group called BART. I've done a lot of that. I've been in NABJ and Black Public Relations Society. So my whole career has always been about promoting, marketing, amplifying those brands. People, I'd say people and publications and things that really matter, that are people who are making impact, people who are really inspirational. That's been my thing. I mean, from I think maybe it was in college I first heard Les Brown, and I was just like, oh my God, more people need to hear him. And that's really been my whole career. People need to know about, if you have that it factor, if you are making a change in the world, my assignment is to make sure more people hear about you. That has been it. And I would say I probably got that honestly because I grew up next door to my pastor, Reverend Joseph R.
Mm.
Jordan. So the same thing of growing up next door to my pastor, going to that church, I would say he's the best pastor on the planet. And I would say more people need to hear about him. And what was my role? What was my assignment? To tell people. That was it. Whether I was doing a flyer, whether I was doing a newsletter, I was doing a whether I was doing it on the bus, going to school, and my pastor said to me, he says, "Ooh, you really are a publicist. You are going to do PR for Jesus." Now, this is when I was a teenager. I didn't even know what PR was, but he was prophetic. By the time I went to college, what did I major in? Journalism and PR. That was my thing. So it's been my thing for the longest. I love it. I love the fact that the career has changed because of the technology, but the methods have changed, but the messaging that I provide for people stays the same.
Well said, by the way. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I forgot. We will get into the Pam method, by the way, P.A.M. But first, we have two different audiences. And maybe she'll talk to each of you individually if she so desires. But the first audience, we have Dr. Pam Perry, folks who are watching. They're very seasoned. They're like, wow, I've been at this business for a while. I've got a lot going on. What's one suggestion you would have for someone like me who's written a book, who's been on stages, for someone that maybe they're in this experts field and they're seasoned, maybe 5 or more years, and got a few things in place and feel like, do I still need that? What would you say to that individual? And don't worry, for those newbies, and you're not new, maybe you're just new into business, I'll say it like that, but you've had stellar careers, very distinguished careers. She's going to talk to why it's even more important for you, and it's okay if no one really knows who you are, and why she still works with folks like that. So let's first talk to the person that's seasoned, like, wow, I've been doing this for a long time. What would Dr. Pam Perry say to someone like myself? And I know it's an unfair question, Dr. Pam Perry, because it's such a broad range of what that is. But if you could
Oh,
speak to that, I
no, no.
appreciate it.
Yeah, one of the main things is find your people. I always tell people to find your people. Who are you solving the problem for? What is it that will resonate as soon as you walk in the room? The things that you talk about, the things that you're about, your experiences, all of your skill set, those are your people. And I tell people that you're trying to be on the broad platforms, or you're trying to speak to the millions. I said, but find your people, because your people will then find their people and bring them to you. So just like there's a target, and you can't, if you only have one little arrow, you're going to hit one bullseye. You can't hit all the different things. You don't have two arrows, you have one. So you want to make sure that you are creating a ecosystem of your people, whether it is those associations, those organizations, those type of companies. Those are the other people that are your influencer in your field, that you're running with that crew. That is your those are your people. That's your pack. Those are the people that are the the endorsers, the people who are doing referrals and recommendations. Now, if you don't ever talk to anybody else, knowing that if it's say it's a group of like maybe, I don't know, 300 people that are in this ecosystem, that from association organizations and things like that, and your leadership of that, that may be all you need to build a very successful career. You don't really have to do a whole lot out of that. You're going into the media that you know that group watches. You're being participating in associations or on stages where you know that group will be. So finding your people and really doubling down on that niche. One of my coaches said many years ago, he says, you could get rich in a niche. And that's so true. You find your niche and you get rich in that. You can't be scattered just starting out. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you are a seasoned expert, find your people. And that is one of the hardest things that most entrepreneurs really, really struggle with, because they don't want to feel like, I'm going to lose that audience. I'm not going to, I want to talk to everybody. I'm going to miss out. No, you're not going to miss out. You're going to just be that go-to expert because you are a person that has picked a lane and stayed with it. That's it.
Pick a lane and
Stay
stay
with
with it.
it.
And that applies to if you're seasoned or you're very, very new at this. I like how you was able to bring both of them together. And you do work with both folks. Take a
Mhm.
moment, if you would, and talk a little about the P.A.M. method. If you maybe have a once in definition for promote. And this is probably just Shayism because I'm Shay Brown question. I know all of you already get it, but I'm curious the difference between promote and then the other one, which was market. I mean, I'm just curious what the difference is, but take it away. P.A.M. Talk about that if you would.
Right. So promoting would be where we have this podcast, right? We have this podcast and we're promoting it, we're sharing it out. We're not really asking at that point about buying something or a call to action. We're not asking them to subscribe. We're just promoting it. We are actually just giving someone an awareness about what it is that we're doing. We're just giving awareness. Then the amplification of it is really putting that everywhere. So we put it on Facebook, and so the amplification maybe put it in a newsletter, put it in a email signature, putting it on a QR code and texting it to folks. Okay, that's amplifying it. You know, you're sharing everything everywhere. And then marketing is when you're really sharing it to someone and asking for something, asking for a sale, asking for them to subscribe, asking them to want to advertise in this particular publication. You're asking for something. So, marketing is a part of selling. So, you do have to have an ask. Promoting is really awareness. And then the amplification is making sure that most people know about what you are promoting, not just promoting it on one place, one time, but it's amplifying all the time. You are amplifying it. You're sending out messages, you are DMing the link, whatever. That I'm just saying that's just one particular thing. So amplification is really, really important because people have to see things. It used to be 7 times, now it's more like 14 times in order for people to realize, oh, that's the thing. I saw it. I saw it 7 times. No, I saw it 14 times. It's like, oh, you got a book? Yeah, I've only been promoting it for the last 14 days, every day strong. So it takes because it's so noisy now. We have so many options. So people do have to promote, amplify, and market on a continual basis. And so the difference between promoting and marketing is one is really giving an awareness, and the other one is really getting a call to action, getting them to convert for what they saw.
I love it. The P.A.M. method. I love it, by the way. And as you were speaking, it's a perfect segue to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. And this is an opportunity for us to find out if there's ever been any setbacks in your life. And for those folks that are watching that are tuned in right now, you might be wondering, what does, today is my January 1st even mean? Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny the past is back there, the past really no longer equals the future. So my question for Dr. Pam Perry on the other side is, was there ever a time along this journey where you had a setback? Maybe her life's been perfect. We'll figure this out. And if there was a setback, how were you able to bounce back from it?
Yes, I've definitely had a lot of setbacks. I always say that if you have not had setbacks, then you might need to check your pulse, okay? Because people living in this life, you're going to have some setbacks, and it makes you stronger. It makes you stronger, and it really helps your critical thinking skills. And everything that you go through is for a reason if you have the right attitude. So, some of the setbacks that I've had, I realized that I had to maybe tighten my circle. So tightening my circle, meaning that not everybody can have a front row in your life, and you have to put some people in the bleachers or even some people out of the field. So that has been really relationships of just thinking that everybody has a heart like I do, that they want the best for each other, or it's going to be a win-win. Where sometimes people come towards you and it's not a win-win, and it can be like, oh, I'm going to win and you're going to lose, and I'm gonna stab you in the back and leave you dead. So that can be hurtful. It's like, huh? And that's really the thing. So just knowing in alignment and just having a good perception and understanding who people are at the heart, and really before you even partner with people, that you really understand what it is that their intentions are, because you may be assuming that their intentions are like yours, that you want everybody to win, when that may not be the case. So those are hard lessons. I probably have gone through that 3 or 4 times, and finally the Lord kind of told me and says, you know what, you need to slow your roll. Not everybody is out trying to help. Some people are out here just purposely, that could be pretty, their motives are not pure. So it took me a while to kind of realize that. And so really one of the main things, I just have mentors that speak into my life. I remember one pastor in particular said to me, he says, "You just think everybody just got a heart of cold, don't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." He says, "You're gonna be in trouble because not everybody out here is gonna be what you think they are." So it just took a while over the years to realize that you can't partner and collaborate with everyone. You can't even align yourself with everyone. So a lot of times it's very kind of hard because you kind of quote unquote like the person, but it's like they're not good. They're not good for you, and they're not good in business with you, especially.
So well said, by the way. And sometimes when we have these talks that we have now, one of my favorite questions we have time, we have a few minutes now to ask is, what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I'll frame it for the audience, just so they know. You've had a lot of mentors, as you've already told us. You read countless books
Yes.
along this journey. I don't know how many videos you watch like this. 10,000 hours is a joke now with all the strolling we do. I feel like I do that over a day or two. But if you had to step back and say, wow, of all the mentors I've had, the books that I read, here's one piece of advice that was given to me that you want to pass to the audience, what would it be and why?
It's two that come to mind. The first one was, uh, it's okay don't work with broke folk. He says, don't try to sell to broke. Okay, because you think something is wrong with you, or something's wrong with your product, or you just really don't provide a solution. It's like, no, they just don't have the money. And why are you trying to deal with broke folks? So that was really pivotal because I tried to work with a lot of Christians, and the Christians were always saying they don't have the money, and it was like, you know what, you can love them from afar. The other one was inspect what you expect. That was a hard lesson I had to learn because it was something that I thought was going to turn out the way it was, and there were some pieces that were missing. And this person said, and you know this person, Dr. George Fraser, he says, always inspect what you expect. I was 26, 27 years old when he told me that. He said, always inspect what you expect. And from then, my events have always done well because I did an event and it was a mess. But I was 20 something years old. And then now, years later, I still remember that. And so I could be a little anal about when I'm doing events to inspect what I expect.
I love it. That's so spot on, by the way. And as you was talking, I'm curious for where you are now in your career, working with folks. What does success even look like for you these days? What does it feel like?
It really feels more like pulling people more along. So, like the Leading Edge Network is a conglomerate of different people that I want to put on a platform and promote, or where I'm mentoring a lot more people who really want to go to that next level, or I am giving back just my time and my talent and my advice and wisdom to the next generation. Those are the things that really success for me. When people come to me and ask me, if I want to do certain things, it's because they know that the influence and the impact that I have, that I want to share it. So that's really what success means to me. I just had someone the other day and asked me if I want to be a part of mentoring 15 women in a branding and marketing retreat. I said, absolutely. Or do I want to judge these kids' essays and their interviews? Absolutely. And it's no money, but it's because they know that I will provide that type of wisdom and impact to their people.
Yeah, and it seems like you're having a lot of fun. It seems like you're really enjoying it. Like this is like fun. It's something that you
Yes.
really enjoy along the way. Let me
Yes.
ask: has there been a good book or video you watched lately? I used to ask people, "What's the last book you read?" But now, folks are reading books and read them so fast with AI, and now they're watching videos. But I'm always curious: is there a book that stands out other than the good book that is still like a reference to you and helps you along this path?
I like this book by Daniel Priestley, and it's called Key Person of Influence. And really, it talks about the same thing that I always talk about, but it's just a guy from Australia who has had multiple businesses that he's sold over and over again. And he talks about being a key person in influence, meaning like getting press, getting awards, making sure that you're on stages, doing live events, being a key person. So it's really like building your personal brand, doing podcasts and things like that. So key person of influence. And that's really what I work with authors and speakers and thought leaders to help them be that key person of influence and being consistent. That's the main thing. Having a strategy. So having a strategy and being consistent with that strategy is so hard for people to really grasp and get. But that book right there, I always it's a small little book. I said read it, write a book, you know,
Mm-hmm.
pitch yourself to the media and do that consistently. Watch, rinse, and repeat. Do live events, do podcasts, things like that. Get press. Yeah.
I love it. You dropped a term. It was only 2 words, but I like to get your definition of it because it means different things to different people, and that was personal brand. Um,
Mm.
what is a personal brand these days? How would you define it, especially for the clients you're working with these days?
So when someone thinks of Che Brown, what is the first thing that they think of? That's going to be your personal brand. It's what they say about you when they hear your name. And so if they think of Pam Perry, they think of a publicist, or they think of Speakers Magazine, or they think of someone who promotes speakers and authors. That's the brand because I've built it over time. So what is the first thing that people think of? So when they think of me, they're not going to think, oh, well, she has a cooking show, which I don't. Oh, she does. She's a dancer, which I'm not. I just like TikTok. So it is what you have developed over time, intentionally, what you want people to think and know about you. So it is deliberate. It is something that when someone says I'm that's off brand, meaning that that's not part of the alignment of the things that you really want people to learn and think and know about you. So yeah, you could do other things, but your branding is out into the marketplace. So it's your personal brand. When you do your LinkedIn, what does your header say? And all the posts have to align with that. They have to be congruent with what you say you are. So if I'm on LinkedIn and I say that I am a publicist and then I'm always promoting stuff about, I don't know, political stuff and in charge of stuff or things that doesn't have anything to do with PR marketing tips, that's not in alignment with my brand. So you want to, and obviously, a personal brand, like a little bit about me. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
wife, I'm a mother, that kind of thing. So, you can add some of your personality to the brand, but you do want to have a personal brand of what people think about you when they hear you.
I love it. That's spot on. As we come down the home stretch, um, curious, what do you do for fun? We're not out saving the world. How people do the P.A.M. method. What does fun look like for you these days?
It's the older you get, it's the little things that really mean a lot. So being with my friends, traveling, going out to different events, that sort of thing. I really, really do love to dance. So that's one of the main things I do love to dance. So we will go out. I don't care if I'm dancing in line dancing, which I'll do line dancing, or I'm dancing just because I want to go out and dance. So yeah, so that's one of the fun things for me, and it's relaxing, or even exercising and dancing. So I was years ago a Zumba certified instructor, so I did love to dance. That part as well.
Cool.
But friends,
Was we
friends and family.
Zumba dance? We're not going to answer Zumba dance right now, ladies and gentlemen. Although I'm sure she would if we did. Is it part of the personal brand? I don't know, but I think it's cool. Two-part questions. We come down the home stretch. Part one is what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days? Because I'm not sure if you're taking on any clients. I'm not sure if your agency is booked. And then number two question is how can folks best connect with you if they want to stay in this conversation with Dr. Pam Perry over and beyond the time that we have right now? Where should they go? What should they do?
So where they can find everything is pamperrypr.com. That's where they can find Speakers Magazine. That's where they can find quick media coverage. They can find information about the television show that we're launching, Leading Edge Network. They can go to pamperrypr.com. I'm working with authors and speakers, subject matter experts, have been for the last couple of decades or so. So if you are an author or a speaker, consultant or a coach, subject matter expert, and you want to really build that whole muscle within media, I'll help you find your people, put together a strategy, put together a PR plan, and help you promote and amplify and market. It's that simple. So it is primarily African American. That has been my niche. That has been the niche that I've been working with. And then if you're an inspirational speaker as well, that is also one of the loves. I love working with inspirational people and people who have a lot of motivation. Those people, we motivate each other, and I can just see where their light can be shined. So I make sure that people shine their light, and I'm there. I'm the person that pushes them forward. So they just work on their content, and I push it out there.
I love it, by the way. Once again, give them the website. Once again, where to go to?
PamPerryPR.com.
Simple, easy. I love that, by the way. Well, let me say two things. Number one, you are amazing. You're incredible. You're one of the few people I get a chance to met with in person on several occasions, and you do exactly what you say should be done. So thanks for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Can't wait to connect with you again.
Thank you, Che. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you. And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So I never get tired of reminding you every night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, that you're amazing, that you're incredible, and that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. That being said, I'm out. Peace, everybody. And we'll see you, well, I like to say, on the other side. God bless, and keep doing God's work. Peace, everybody.